Hello viewers, today for the initial checkout we have an AT&T 210 Trimline telephone in the black finish. This is not a brand new model. I think it's got some age to it. It's not old enough to have the real heavy base. It says made in China for advanced American telephones, and the website is telephones.att.com. It is not old enough to have the date code either. The model number is 210M, as in more telephones. I found this at work, but I'm not really sure where it came from originally, because it has these numbers up here at the top, but they're not our numbers. And there's a number down here which is not an internal number. So I don't know where this was used or anything like that. Nothing else written on there as far as that goes. It's in pretty decent condition. It's a little bit dirty, but it's not really scratched up at all. It looks pretty nice still, which is kind of odd for something used in an enterprise situation. And I know it was, because it's got extensions on there, so it must have been. Even the bottom plate where the handset rests on a cradle is still in pretty good condition. That usually wears out pretty quickly. But it's really in pretty good shape. And the volume control, which is starting to yellow, so probably was used. That's another indicator it was used in an enterprise environment, because it probably yellowed under fluorescent lighting. And the numbers, and not the numbers, the program and mute button, dialing and ringer switches have also all yellowed as well. It didn't come to me with a cord, so I'll just put another cord on there for now, which is something very similar to what it would have come with. And this is having a problem inserting. It's just very tight. And let's get the telephone cord plugged in. This is a cord wrap here, so if you were to hang it on the wall and you had a longer cord, you could coil it up in here and then slip it in like this to go into your wall jack. So that's kind of clever. I like this better than the older style ones that didn't have this, and they just had those stupid things, like 2 or 3 of them that went down, because those were always kind of difficult to use. I think this is a better design. One of the very few things that seems to have gotten better as time went on. Alright, so it's plugged in now. Let's go ahead and call this thing up. And it's not ringing. So the ringer is probably broken. That was a pretty common issue with these. They tended to break over time. The speakers seem to wear out. Yeah, it's just not ringing. I don't think the switch is loose or anything. It just doesn't seem to work. Oh, it's not transmitting the numbers correctly either. Okay, maybe this 210 doesn't work. It does have a dialing tone. Huh, now it's working. check the numbers out here. Seems to be working okay. Nothing stored in the memories. I don't know why it wasn't working that first time. Okay, so it's okay. Now, let's try calling it up again. And now it's working. It's kind of an odd tone. It's not quite the modern one, but it's not the old one either. Okay, so that was the high. We'll call again. Change it to low. Okay, there's low. It's got a decent range to it. Okay, so that seems to be working now. I don't know what that was about. Maybe just needed to wake up, if you will. I saw an interesting video some time ago, a couple weeks ago, and the entity was talking about video cameras, old video cameras, and how we should use all the old equipment that we have rather than letting it sit in a closet, because things deteriorate when they're just sitting there, you know, electronics, capacitors, and things like that. I think the video was by the Maritime Girl, and so she was saying that, and I tend to agree with that statement, and it makes sense, because stuff was not meant to sit in a closet. Telephones was not meant to sit in the closet unplugged. They was meant to be plugged into the phone line, getting the 120 volts in there for the ringer. They were meant to be transmitting the buttons and stuff. So it kind of makes sense when electronics sits for a while that they just break down from lack of use. So that could have been what was going on here. Stuff was just getting dormant because it was sitting for so long, and it just took a little bit of putting some life into it for it to start working again. Anyways, let's go ahead and call up the test and answering machine, and I'll record a testing message into it.
1. New message. Message 1. Testing, testing, the 1, the 2, the 3. Can you hear this testing message perfectly? Or is there too much wind noise to hear it perfectly? Over and out. End of messages.
Okay, that sounded perfectly fine. So now let's go and make an outside call. The thing is set to wall, that's why it kind of got stuck.
Closest bank, it's in the palm of your hand when you download our mobile banking app. People's United Bank is...
Okay, I'll increase the volume to halfway.
...is Monday, October 25th. People's United Bank time, 8...
And now go all the way.
Temperature 56 degrees. Mostly cloudy today, a little light rain, a high in the low 70s.
Sounds good. Okay, so this AT&T 210 Trimline telephone is in fact in good working order.